NFL free agency is finally here. LeBron confronts Stephen A. Smith, and then a little bit later, he hurts his groin. We've got that and more next on Good Sports. Thanks for joining us. I'm Randy Goode, and I'm alongside Trent Sneed, and we also have behind the scenes Andrew here joining us. And as always, please hit that subscribe button. We appreciate all the support, but you'll get everything that we have coming out if you hit that button. And we are going to be talking a lot about the free agency and the draft coming up and a whole bunch of things. So this is a very exciting time of the year because this is when Philadelphia won last year in the Super Bowl, it all started in this offseason. You start getting the right pieces, and then you complement it with the draft, and then you're on pace to go forward and do some great things. So very exciting. So hit that subscribe button. Just quickly, boom. We'd appreciate it. And please add comments. We appreciate everything, and we do appreciate all the support. This week was absolutely bananas. A lot of things have happened. I think of people like Josh Allen, signed for an insane amount of money.
That's a lot of money.
I mean, that is just, to try to even grasp that type of money is insane. But he's made it, and he's one of the best quarterbacks, so good for him that he did it. But you've got Josh Allen. Obviously, there's only a couple quarterbacks that I would say you can pay stupid money to. If you're going to pay stupid money, Josh Allen's one of them. So good for him. I don't think they've done very well outside of that because they're giving him all his money. They haven't really improved that much. But I was totally, like almost every offseason, I was totally perplexed by Cleveland Browns and the fact that Garrett, who all of a sudden had a moral dilemma decision that he changed. I do not want to come back for Cleveland. He just can't do it. I'll give you 40 million reasons why per year to do it. I love Cleveland. I love me
Makes
some
me
Cleveland.
sick, to be honest with you.
It's unbelievable. So that made no sense to me. Like, Cleveland needs a reset. We'll talk about the 49ers in a second. They're not in the same situation, but they're kind of doing some things. They just need to stink for like 2 years and say, Deshaun Watson, we're going to give you $150 million this year, and we're going to have a bunch of players off of the grocery store list and just stink and get a couple good draft picks. Now they've restructured Deshaun Watson's contract, which is going to just delay some more payments for Deshaun Watson. Yeah. So they can sign. Yeah, they got a great player in Garrett, but I don't understand. I don't know what they're thinking. They're not going to win. So what are they thinking? What was your thoughts?
I don't think any of it makes sense.
Yeah.
It just doesn't whatsoever. This is the thing. He says, I do not want to play for that football team.
No.
I do not want to play for the football team. I want to win football games. And he even puts together this beautiful little note that says, I love the city of Cleveland.
Goodbye.
It's been so great playing with you guys, but my heart is in winning championships.
Yeah.
And then we hear the owner, the GM, and Myles Garrett, they all basically don't want to talk to each other.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, man, this poor guy. Yeah. This poor guy has been faithful for like 10 plus years.
And balled out, yeah.
And he's played hardcore, balled out, right?
Yeah.
For 10 plus years for the same organization. They've stunk the whole entire time. And then he's like, he just wants to be free. Poor guy, right? And then I come to find out it's because the stupid guy won more money. $5 more million. And he said, actually, I love it here in Cleveland. It's actually beautiful this time of year. I was just thinking, it looks a little greener out these days than I remember it. Are you kidding me? For another 4 points. Oh my gosh.
It's disingenuous.
This is what makes no sense. Okay. Yeah. How old is Max Crosby? Max Crosby's got to be younger than Garrett.
Yeah. He just re-signed. He just signed, right?
Oh, he is. Max Crosby's 2 years younger than
Garrett.
Myles Garrett.
What is Garrett, like 30 or something?
29. He'll be 30, I think, when he starts the season.
Okay.
2 years younger.
Yeah.
Garrett gets another 4.5. This is the exact same thing they did with Watson.
Yeah.
That's why it's dumb.
Well, and they're not going to win. And so what you're doing is you're trying to say, hey, fan base, we're going to be exciting because we've got him. The last 2 years of this contract, they're going to significantly regret.
Yeah.
Significantly. Next year they can justify it. But now they can't be decent. They were already pinched because of the worst trade in NFL history with Deshaun Watson. And now you have the most expensive defensive player or non-quarterback ever.
Yeah.
They're just remaining in purgatory, which is insane.
I just don't understand how you make the same mistake twice.
Well, it's Cleveland.
Watson said, I do not want to be on that football team. And they said, how's another $20 million guaranteed sound? He said, oh, actually, I like Cleveland.
Yeah.
And guess what? They said, Garrett said, I don't want to be on that football team. And they're like, well, how's an extra $5 million a year guaranteed
Money.
sound? Well,
Okay.
actually, I like it. This is what doesn't make any sense to me. How do you make that mistake twice? You put yourself in living hell once, and you think you'd learn. You'd be like, now I see how that was dumb, considering the guy I paid guaranteed $225 million won't probably start at quarterback this year.
Yeah.
I see how dumb that was. But then they go and do it at Myles Garrett, too.
Yeah.
Just makes no sense.
Okay, so how much do you put on the value of winning versus the value of money?
Everything.
So here we
Everything.
are. Here we are. We're not in the situation where we're obviously getting this type of money. So if somebody comes up to you and says, I'm going to give you $40 million and you're going to guaranteed to stink, okay, per year. Or I'm going to give you $33 million and you might win and might not. Because the NFL is so subjective in injuries and stuff. So you could stink. You could go. It doesn't matter. You name whatever team you want. If they get the wrong people injured, if Mahomes get injured, Chiefs aren't making the playoffs. So do you take the guarantee? You know what I mean? It is hard. The only difference is you're never going to spend that extra money anyway. When you get to a certain amount of money, you're never, whether it's 40 million, 45 million, 30 million, you're never going to spend it. But it shows that it's not always about winning. That's the thing that disgusts me is when they say I'm about winning.
And they're not.
They're not.
They're not. No. This is the problem. Okay, this is the problem. In my heart of hearts, I truly believe if the Philadelphia Eagles called me up, said we'll pay you $20 million a year to play linebacker, but then the Cleveland Browns called me up and said we'll pay you 40. I don't care. It could be double. I'm still going to Philadelphia. You know why? Because a rich man once said, being rich doesn't make you a better person.
True.
But it sure does when I donate a lot of money to a charity. But in the same fashion, being a winner is so much more valuable.
So
you get ad deals from being a winner.
That's true.
Okay?
That's true. Especially in the key, yeah.
You get ad deals from being a winner. You get fandom from being a winner.
Yeah.
Look at all the guys that just won the Super Bowl. They probably all have podcasts like Darius Slay that get thousands of views. Being a winner is so much more valuable.
I agree. I agree with you. It is.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things, and I could understand taking a similar contract to go somewhere where you're like, I think we have a chance to win.
Yeah. So, well, here's the question: Tom Brady, is he? So everybody says he's a GOAT. Most people say he's a GOAT, right?
Probably 99.9 of them. Yeah.
Okay. So he's a GOAT. If he maxes out his contract, plays just the same skill level that he does, but maxed out his contract, would he be considered the GOAT? And I would say no. Because he always took discounts, they re-signed players that helped that team be better, and he's the GOAT.
He was that much smarter than everybody else.
Absolutely. So he had the talent. There's probably 10 people that have maybe the talent and the opportunity to be the GOAT, and I'm not saying they're all the GOAT, but he was the one of all of those guys that said, I'm going to take less.
Yeah,
so I have the opportunity.
Now he's laughing all the way to the bank because he owns a football team.
Yep. Yeah, and he also
he's driving around in a Bentley going, "Wow, you guys were stupid."
And he also said, "You know what? I'm going to save a little money to have that money go towards or make a little less money so they go to my offensive line so I can play a little bit longer."
Yeah.
And so I know it doesn't make
And
like
we're talking about the same guy that invested in that one crypto scam,
yeah,
right?
yes,
And he's still filthy rich.
yeah, he's done well for himself on and off the field. He's done very well. Who would you say would be the winners right now in NFL free agency as of today when we're filming this? Who would you say are some of the winners? I'm looking at some things. I think the Bears have done very well.
Breaking news.
What's
Breaking
that?
news.
Oh, what just happened?
Breaking news. Joey Bosa has reached an agreement tonight on a 1-year, $12.6 million deal with the
San Francisco
Buffalo Bills.
No, really?
Yes.
Did he really?
Buffalo Bills.
Oh, you're getting on air. Terrible reaction.
$12.6 million deal with the Buffalo Bills. 1 year, though.
Okay.
That means you have a chance next year. Wow, we broke that one live. What an idiot!
Okay.
Ugh!
So
You have a chance to play with your brother in your prime.
that's because the 49ers weren't going to pay. I wouldn't have paid him that much money. I think that's overpay.
12.6?
Yeah.
I would have paid him 12.6.
I would. So
That sucks.
Okay, are we ready?
I would have paid it.
I'm blown away by it. I was really hoping
Live
for
on the
this
podcast.
story. I was hoping that Joey Bosa, the Bosa brothers, could be together. And they made it sound like before we went on the air, it was going to happen.
Yeah.
The 49ers just got rid of Leonard Floyd.
Yep.
Saved $8.5 million. I wouldn't say it was going to be earth-shadowing because if you look at Bosa, I think he only had 5 sacks last year.
Yeah.
He's been injured a lot. He's not on the field. But I thought, if they played him less snaps, because on the opposite side you have the better Bosa right now, Nick.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be a great story. But the 49ers, I'm proud of the 49ers not paying $12 million. I personally, I know everybody's getting anything now, money. I mean, the 49ers lost an offensive lineman Moore who played sometimes and got $15 million a year.
Oh,
so
yeah.
everybody is making a ton
He's
of money
excited.
right now.
A backup tackle.
Yeah, a backup.
Now is going to get to be a starter, but got paid like a starter.
Like a starter. So I know the salaries are inflated, but the 49ers need to be smarter with their money. But I thought he was going to take a discount, play with his brother. This is the same thing that we're just talking about. Why not for quality of life?
This is idiotic.
It is. He's going to go to Buffalo, and he's going to lose the just think if the Kelsey brothers could have played together.
Yeah.
Now, the difference between Bosa's, they're on opposite sides, and they're like, let's have a reunion every time, every snap at the quarterback. What a dream situation.
Yeah.
And he's not going to do it. They made it sound like 49ers were cleaning stuff, and it was like they were in talks, and he's going to Buffalo.
I think this is idiotic, and the reason why I think it's idiotic
I do too.
is they could have structured his deal even at 12.6 because this is a 1 year.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have signed a 1 year. He should have signed a 3 year. And I know what he's doing. He probably got a contract offer for 3 to 4 from the 49ers, maybe 2 to 3. Probably 2 to 3 from the 49ers and maybe other teams.
Yeah.
And I bet you it was crazy low.
Yeah.
And he felt like he was being disrespected.
Yep, that's what it is.
But he has not played well.
He
in
hasn't.
the last 2-3 years.
Yes, it's been multiple years. He'll play 4 games, 6 games,
And I bet you this was him saying, I want a prove it deal.
I also wonder.
But if you're going to take a prove it deal, go do it with your brother.
Do you think, though, that the ego side of things of being the Bosa that's not as good anymore would have been hard to constantly see Nick here and him here? Do you think the ego played into this? I can't believe it. Oh, I thought that was going to be a cool story. I mean, the 49ers are like, we lose Charvarius Ward. He's one of the best corners in the league. $20 million he signs. And what do we get back? Our big signing, special teams player, backup, long snapper. We didn't get a long snapper, but I thought this was going to be a good
You guys
story.
had a good signing. I like this. There's a signing that just happened today that I was a big fan of.
Safety?
No. DeMarcus Robinson.
And we got a corner.
Wide receiver from L.A., DeMarcus Robinson. I
got
actually
speed.
like him.
He's got speed.
I thought at times he was the best receiver on the Rams.
Yeah.
And that's saying something when you have Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua on that team.
Well, I think that's a good transition. Let's go into our teams.
Okay.
So, as a 49er fan, we have lost an all-pro Charvarius Ward.
Are you guys rebuilding?
No.
Just come out.
No.
Just come out and say it if you are.
We're resetting. I don't know if you'd say rebuilding. When I think of rebuilding, it would be the Cleveland Browns, where they've got to totally scrap their whole team and say, we're totally starting over. I don't think that's what the 49ers are doing.
This is what doesn't make sense to me, though.
But we're finally being smart. Okay, so I'm happy with what we're doing. I've not been happy the last couple years. Teams that typically win, when the Patriots won, they rarely, now they did do Randy Moss and they lost that year, but they rarely signed and paid big time players. What they do is you re-sign some of your own players and you let go of players before they make the big money, and you build through the draft and you keep building through the draft, and you only pay a few key players. The 49ers were paying too many people.
Yeah.
Hargrave was top of the line defensive line. You have Nick Bosa. I would do him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, they way overpaid for Hargrave. And we talked about that.
Yes.
When he came from the Eagles and went to the 49ers, I said, well, he's kind of a pass rush only.
Yes, he's a specialist.
Yeah.
And so you overpaid, but you can't have the highest paid linebacker, the highest paid tight end, the highest paid tackle, the highest paid defensive end.
Running back.
Running back. I mean, and so they're finally going, whoa. Free agency is not where teams win. They call you, what you want to do is get the right piece.
Let's transition into that part of it, because you just said something that I actually been wanting to talk about.
Okay.
Free agency. There's a lot of teams that win free agency.
Yeah.
And they do it every year.
Yep.
And you think, oh, wow, they got this great acquisition. There's usually a reason that these players are free agents.
Right. Why are they not re-signing with their teams?
And let me say, I'm not saying that you can't find stellar pieces in free agency.
Right.
Look at Saquon Barkley to the Eagles.
It happened, and
Okay, but Saquon wasn't the foundation for who the Eagles were going to be.
Yeah.
But he was that extra puzzle piece that finished the puzzle, right?
And that's the key.
Yes.
That's what the Eagles do well. And there's a few teams that do it well, is they say, okay, we're going to get that guy.
Yep.
And we're going to find complementary pieces around.
Yep. So I did a little information here. These are the last 3 drafts from the Philadelphia Eagles, and I use the Philadelphia Eagles. It's my team. It's the easiest for me to remember. I can give you the most information possible. But this is the example of why I tried to explain to people free agency. It's awesome to get these good pieces, but you can't use them as the foundation for your team. So this is the last 3 drafts. For 2022, we got Jordan Davis, who is now our starting defensive tackle. Cam Jurgens out of Nebraska, he's our starting center. Nakobe Dean, he was the starting linebacker this year until he went down with a torn pectoral. We drafted Kyron Johnson. He is no longer with the team. And then Grant Calcaterra, who is our tight end number 2, who comes in almost in every 12 package that we do. So that was 2022. 2023, we got Jalen Carter, who's our starting defensive tackle. Nolan Smith, who's now our starting edge rusher. Tyler Steen, who was the backup at guard last year, but he'll most likely be the starter this year, considering Mekhi Becton probably won't be re-signed. Sidney Brown, he's actually one of our best special teamers, and he's not just only a really good special teamer. He is a really good special teamer. He had like 2 or 3 forced fumbles this year on special teams. Killer. And he's a good safety. But we have good safeties already, so it's hard for him to get in there. But with C.J. Gardner-Johnson being traded, I'm pretty sure he's going to be the starter next year. Keely Ringo, another amazing special teamer. But with Darius Slay being gone, he's actually probably the next one up at cornerback, starting quarterback. Tanner McKee, who is now our number 2 quarterback, now that Kenny Pickett has been traded. Moro Jomo will most likely be a rotational defensive tackle next year. He had some really good plays in the Super Bowl. And then 2024, Quinyon Mitchell, starting corner. Cooper DeJean, starting slot corner. Jalix Hunt, he didn't start at edge rusher last year, but he will be this year. He had an amazing Super Bowl, had a huge sack on Patrick Mahomes. Will Shipley at running back, he's another one of our special teamers. Anais Smith at wide receiver, he's just a backup. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. will get a chance to not only be a big special teamer, but also start at linebacker this year. Trevor Keegan, he's a backup guard. He is actually going to be most likely playing in some role or shape. Johnny Wilson caught some touchdowns last year as a rotational wide receiver, and Dylan McMahon is on a different team. So anyways, I say all this to basically say if you go through the last 3 drafts, the core foundation and nucleus of our football team is completely based on this draft.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely based on the draft.
You have to do that. You have to basically pick your core players, and some of that is obviously based on positions, but some of that is based on the leadership in the locker room too.
Yep.
There are those certain people. Like for the 49ers, you have George Kittle, but George Kittle is locker room presence is as valuable as his skills. But you can't pay them all, and you have to be willing to make hard decisions and say, I'm going to let certain players go that are good, but I can't sign them all. And you got to have discipline on it because you look at Quinyon Mitchell. Look at Cooper. How much are they paying them?
Nothing.
You got mediocre cornerbacks right now that are going somewhere for $10, $12, $14 million.
Oh, yeah.
Mediocre cornerbacks.
Yeah.
They're paying Cooper. I bet Cooper's making $1.5 million. Whatever, he's second round, top of the second round.
Yep.
Quinyon Mitchell's probably making a few million.
2, 3.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's like 3 weeks worth of paychecks for these other cornerbacks. That's smart. You have to draft well, and you signed your linebacker, so that was good. What do you think of losing your defensive tackle, Milton Williams? Those are the ones you have to lose, though, right?
That sucks.
You do have to lose.
This is the thing is when, like, a year ago, I was like, you guys need to watch out for this guy, Milton Williams.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Milton Williams is a dog.
Yeah.
And to be fair, a lot of people have been coming at my neck saying, Trent, you guys are losing a lot of players.
Yeah.
They're all backups.
Yeah, but you're losing players, but that's what happens when you win a Super Bowl.
It is what it is.
When you
Milton Williams, who is now probably paid top 3 for defensive tackles in the league, right?
$100 million.
Yeah. He didn't even start for us.
I know. That's insane.
So, but let me say this. He got less than 50% of the snaps at defensive tackle this last year. I loved Milton. I was just a Milton guy.
Yeah.
Right? Less of he's a stud player. I hate to lose him. More of I just really like Milton.
Yeah.
And who he was and who he represented.
Little different personality than Carter.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a little bit. I was just a Milton guy, so it sucks to lose him. Is it something we'll miss? Yeah, absolutely. Do I think Moro Ojomo, who's his backup, is going to fit just fine in his replacement? Yeah, he'll be all right.
Well, I wanna go because what we were talking about here was about free agents, right?
Yep.
And teams that spend. So I'm just going to go back in the history of how successful it is to spend a bunch of money in free agency. Last year, the team that spent the most in free agency was the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
Okay, that didn't work out for them.
Nope.
The year before that was the Denver Broncos. That didn't work out for them. That was 2 years ago. In 2022, Jacksonville Jaguars. The year before that, 2021, the New England Patriots. The year before that, 2020, Miami Dolphins. The year before that, 2019, the New York Jets. 2018, Chicago Bears. 2017, Jacksonville Jaguars. 2016, Jacksonville Jaguars. They're doing a very good job of overspending. 2015, the Jets. That's the last 10 years. The common theme is teams that don't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're overspending. The team what you don't see on this list, the Philadelphia Eagles. What you don't see is you don't have the Chiefs. You just don't have those top teams. You don't see the Baltimore Ravens. And so there is something you build through, and then you have to build through the draft. You get your players ready, and you have to say, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to let certain people go.
Yeah.
And so free agency is a very exciting time of year, but I'm always nervous when my 49ers are overpaying. And so I say that for my team, I feel the 49ers are winning because they're finally resetting what they're doing. The 49ers will still have a chance to be good this year because of a core. They're getting back one of the best tackles in football.
Yep.
They're getting they'll get at least they'll have Warner healthy. Warner played injured almost the whole year, so he'll be healthy. They have Mustafa who will replace Hufanga. They're gonna have to draft well, but they're getting, Christian McCaffrey back. Brandon Ayuk will play a little bit. I don't think they're losing much in Debo. So who they've lost, most of them. Greenlaw will be the hardest one.
Yeah.
But he's hurt. In 4 years, he's been hurt half of the time.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think
I'm just glad
what's your
they're
guys'
being
backup?
smart.
I feel like he's going to be fine.
D Winters. Yeah, D Winters. He'll be okay. I
He'll
mean,
be all
we're
right.
going to need to draft.
You guys should have went and got Oren Burks back.
No, I can't.
No, listen,
I can't.
listen,
I know he
Randy,
had good snaps for
Randy,
you.
he won us a Super Bowl, Randy.
Listen, he didn't win you the Super Bowl.
He played really good.
won
He had a
Super Bowl.
forced fumble.
And it wasn't his fault in the Super Bowl. It's hard to come in and be the backup. You know, that is a hard situation, and then to have them go after you, which is what Mahomes did, and that was good for him. But I'm happy that he turned around. Kyle Juszczyk for the 49ers, not worried about losing him. Aaron Banks is replaceable. Leonard Floyd, that was a smart decision. Shavarius Ward, we just couldn't afford him. But when you pay cornerbacks that are right at that age 30, longer-term contracts, that's a risk. Even though he's been great, and I really did like him. I'm okay with 49ers. I'm actually happy. We tendered Jordan Mason. So, we'll
I
see.
thought that was smart.
That was.
And if Kyle could finally get it together
And be intelligent. And
and
not
be
kill
intelligent
somebody. Yeah.
and just rotate those two backs.
They've got 3. Garendo.
I don't care if you have to get full on Christian McCaffrey reliant in the playoffs.
Right. Get him healthy.
But rotate the backs.
Yeah, and
Jiminy
they
Christmas.
got Garendo who can play. You've got Mason who can play.
This is the thing, right? Is Christian McCaffrey's not a big guy.
No.
He's not a big guy.
No.
And Kyle loves to run in between the tackles.
Right in between the tackles. Yeah, he needs to have 13, 14 carries a game.
Yeah.
And that's it. And just say, we're going to be disciplined, and we're going to put packages in for somebody else. And Jordan Mason likes to thump people too. So he just runs people into the ground. So who are maybe some of the winners that you would say in free agency? I say the Bears. Here's the other thing that was great for my
know.
49ers, because you always circle back to your own team.
Yeah.
The Bears pick right before the 49ers and were absolutely taking an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Because they needed, and
But
they've
Bears,
now got 3 offensive linemen.
They're not
So
getting another offensive lineman.
No, so they're going a new direction. A couple of the people picking above have gotten some offensive linemen, and the Patriots have done some things with the lines. And so the 49ers, by not doing anything, have just moved up the ladder in a way. It's almost like trading up for those offensive linemen. So whether they take them or not, who knows? We'll probably take a punter. But anyway, who do you think are some of the winners?
Okay, so Patriots
Have
I
done
do
well.
like the route they're going. I think Mike Vrabel's a great coach. They're not 100% sure on Drake May yet, but it looks like he's got a chance.
Yeah.
My guess is they're going to go into the draft looking for some sort of weapons for Drake May in that offense. Because they're shoring up their defense in the offseason with the free agency. They got Milton Williams, who, like I said, big Milton Williams guy.
Yeah.
They got Harold Landry, who's the outside linebacker / pass rusher from the Titans. I think he has a chance to be a starter, full-time starter for sure. He's a great player. Robert Spillane, he's a great player. And Carlton Davis, who I think has a good chance of being very valuable for them. So, anyways, I think they're spending on the right guys, in my opinion. And I think they had the most amount of money to spend.
Yeah.
But I don't think they've really acted like it, right?
Yeah.
You know, they had the one big Milton Williams signing. I think the rest has been pretty good. My losers. Okay, so that's my winner. Oh, let me give you one more winner. Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
They got Hufanga
If they stay healthy.
and Greenlaw,
Yeah.
and there was someone else they signed. But they'll get Alex Singleton back next year,
Yeah.
or this year, who's also a stud linebacker.
Yeah.
Him and Greenlaw would be an amazing duo.
If those guys, all 3 of those, stay healthy, Denver's going to be a force on defense.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I really like what Denver's doing because defense was their strength.
Mm-hmm.
They're doubling down,
Yeah.
continuing to make it stronger in the offseason, which means in the draft they'll probably go offense,
Yep.
and that's good for them.
Yeah.
They need a running back, and they need to figure out their wide receiver situation.
Yeah.
My losers. The Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's exactly what I have down.
They don't have a quarterback.
No.
They now have the 2 angriest wide receivers in the league.
They-
Which, for someone who's not a Steelers fan, I'm going to love watching.
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing. I mean, I can see from a physicality standpoint, DK Metcalf kind of looks like a Steeler. He's sculpted like a Steeler. But they paid him the Brandon Ayuk. I guess that's the contract now, except they gave him an extra year.
Yeah.
And he looks beaten down a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
Even though he's still young, he's hurt.
Yeah.
And so I'd worry if I was Pittsburgh. They also gave a second-round pick for him. So
Yeah.
you give a high pick and pay a guy a lot of money who wasn't the best receiver on his own team. At times was even the third receiver at times.
I agree.
So
I actually agree with that.
that is,
And for people who are just DK fanboys because they see his physique,
yeah,
sure, I get it. The guy's got six-pack abs.
yes.
He's definitely
He's a
going to
Greek
be a
god,
better
right?
athlete than
Yeah.
me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But he's just never been a true number one.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to ask him to be the number one. I
Yeah.
think they're still going to ask him to play two, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I just think the biggest loss for them is we went over this again and again and again. They went to Russell Wilson halfway through the season. I said that was the dumbest decision they could possibly make. You have a young guy who has the ability to be a full-time starter.
Yep.
And all they had to do, Randy, was play him.
Yeah.
It was they weren't going to go win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They weren't ready. They weren't going to go win a Super Bowl. So you could either play Russell Wilson, who has no future,
Yeah.
or you could play the kid that had a future. And what'd they do? They blew it away. The Jets picked him up in the offseason. Now they're sitting there with their hands up like this, and they said, oh, I guess we're going to sign Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson.
Yep. Aaron
it's like-
Rodgers is going to be the guy. And so they're basically just replacing Russell Wilson.
They could have
again.
had a future. They
Yeah.
could have had a future if they would just Mike Tomlin could just get out of his own way.
I think they also should have considered Sam Darnold. I would have considered him.
Yeah.
I think
Well, let's
he
go
would have
into
been a
Sam
good-
Darnold.
Yeah.
My next losers,
Yeah.
Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
I sat here and I banged on this table
Yeah.
halfway through the season when all the Seattle Seahawks fans are calling me saying, we have a real football team. No, you don't, because you still have Geno Smith as your quarterback,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
And guess what, Pinocchio? You ain't going to make it to the Super Bowl with Geno Smith at quarterback.
No.
So what'd they do? They finally listened to good old Trent, and they said, let's get rid of Geno Smith. Great move, Seattle. Great move. And what did you do? What did you do? You replaced average with average again. And we're back at the same spot. Listen, I think Sam Darnold is an upgrade from Geno.
I would say. Too.
I
would say.
I
would
honestly
say he's
think
a
that.
B- quarterback.
I just don't think Sam is going to win you a Super Bowl.
I don't think.
I don't
they're-
think he's got it in him.
What do you think of all the people they got rid of?
I think it was a great move.
Lockett,
I thought
DK.
get rid of Lockett, and everyone wants to be like, well, you know, Seattle never lets their great veterans stay long enough to retire. No, get them out of there.
It's stupid to overpay somebody
Yeah.
that doesn't produce.
Yeah. Listen, we don't as a football team, the Eagles, we don't bring anyone back unless they're still producing.
Yeah.
If you're not producing anymore, goodbye.
Yeah.
Sorry. We love you and we wish the best for you. Look at Darius Slay.
Right.
He's still producing. We
Yeah.
just can't afford him.
Yep.
Great guy.
You have to be willing to say no. You
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
So, okay. I absolutely have Pittsburgh as losers right now. I'm not sure what they're doing. I think the Dallas Cowboys, for example, I don't know what they're doing. They haven't done anything.
No.
They're
Jerry's
maybe,
gonna blow it.
Maybe it's a win. I don't know, but they because he didn't overpay and get that splash contract. They've restructured. When people say, "Hey, they just opened up for," so I don't know what they're opening up money for. It must be Micah Parsons to go overpay Micah Parsons. That must be what they're doing.
Well, think about it this way: if Myles Garrett got
$40
50,
million.
wait, what did he get?
He averaged 40 million.
40, right?
40.
And Max Crosby got 35.5.
Yeah.
Micah's getting 42, 45.
Yeah.
There ain't no way. Micah's younger,
Yeah.
and honestly, I think I'd rather have Micah than Miles.
I would too, because of his age.
Well, I think I'd rather have Micah over Miles because of how versatile he is.
Yeah, because he can play.
Don't get me wrong, Myles Garrett is an all-time pro,
Yeah.
but I just think he's less versatile on the line.
Yeah.
Micah, I could put him at linebacker to cover a wide receiver. I could put him at linebacker to cover a tight end. I could put him at linebacker to cover a slot player. I could put him at linebacker to cover receiver out of the backfield.
Yeah.
I could put him at defensive end.
Yeah.
I've seen them put Micah at defensive tackle a couple times.
Yeah.
I just think he's that player.
That's a good point. Either way, I would say maybe the first year it might be a wash, but I mean because they both can produce at different levels. But when you're talking a longer term contract, you go with youth.
I just don't see how they're going to pay both of them.
So now
or all three of them.
I don't know what they're doing in Dallas, but Dallas is gonna I think have a rough
way
year
overspent
again.
on Dak.
Yep.
They paid CeeDee what he's worth.
Hey, they got a good backup running back from
They
Denver.
do. They do. Javonte Williams. Yeah.
So
he had one good season.
Yeah. So we'll see. I want to ask, where do you think the Commanders are right now? Because are they a legit Super Bowl threat? Now they did lose Allen, right?
Yeah.
But
I like the Larry Tunsil pickup.
Yeah, I mean that is a huge pickup.
Yeah.
And he's a great, especially against the pass, he blocks really well.
This is the hard thing for the Commanders
Yeah.
is I think they're obviously going all in right now.
Yeah.
Right? And they were actually one of the teams that wanted Josh Sweat or Milton Williams. They tried to get both of them from the Eagles, and they failed to get either or, which kind of sucks, right?
Yeah.
I think they're all in on winning now.
Yeah.
Which with a rookie quarterback, this is a good time, right?
It is.
This is a good time.
Yep.
What I'm nervous about is they didn't actually have a very cohesive unit of a team because they've been rebuilding. I don't know that their team was ready to go all in. Like I think their quarterback, the timing for their quarterback, yes, good to go all in.
Right.
But I'm not sure that their team was ready to go all in. So I'm a little nervous about that. But we'll see. I mean, Jane Daniels is a great talent.
And we'll get in after the draft where we see them. Right now, I see them maybe performing a little lighter than they did this year. Some teams like overperform so much it's hard to live up to it the next year. Some teams do. So, all right, Bengals. Where's Chase in this whole thing? I don't know what they're and their tight end Trey Hendrickson he's going to go
defensive end. Yeah,
he's. I mean that is
and
a great.
Sam,
he is a great pass rusher.
And Sam Hubbard retired.
Yeah. So I mean they just aren't paying anybody there. I think they're trying to see if they can get their salary under $30 million a year. I mean I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. I am so lost.
Yeah,
I'm so lost.
They have the worst ownership in football.
Well, that's the thing.
They have no money. I don't know what the deal is.
They don't have any money, and this is the thing: is they could fix that issue if they sold some shares of the team.
Yeah,
but they won't.
Yeah,
and it's stupid.
Yeah.
Would you rather have 100% ownership of a terrible football team?
Yep.
Or 90% ownership of a really good football team?
It's.
Which one do you want?
Well,
I know this is a hard decision.
Some people, I think it comes down to stubbornness. Everybody's screaming it, and they're not going to do it. Okay, another question for you, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah,
I'm curious your take on this because the Eagles did a little bit like what the 49ers did.
Yeah, even more though. Like, you guys just gave a little incentive.
Yes, so it wasn't necessary.
We brought the house down.
Yeah, so. That's hard to spend that much money for that position. I'm just curious what your thoughts are because they don't win the Super Bowl. They don't go to the NFC. I mean, they're not even close without Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
And the 49ers were the same situation. But running backs are just scary to pay a lot of money to because I don't want anything to happen to Barkley.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they can fall off the cliff quick.
Oh, yeah.
What are your thoughts? Were you happy with that deal? Or, I mean, a little mixed because you're glad he's there, but could it have been a little bit less? Just curious.
I don't know. This is the thing is he had 2 years left on his deal.
I know. That same thing with McCaffrey. They did not need to do this.
Yeah. But then they extended another 3, so now he's like 5 more years for a running back.
And most running backs don't make it 4 years.
Yeah, I just think it was a lot.
That's how I felt.
I don't know why they felt like this was the better decision. This is the thing is the Eagles never the way they structure these contracts, how Howie structures them, is like there's never any guarantees after like 2 years, so your dead cap money is like not very much.
Limited.
Yeah. So
Hopefully that's the case. I didn't look to see this situation.
I'm sure the contract's pretty favorable for the Eagles, probably much more favorable than people think.
Yeah.
I think they really wanted to make this is this is what's difficult, right? I think the Eagles knew that their cap space was going to be limited for the future,
And they
right?
wanted to
Because
secure.
we have some younger guys
Yeah.
who are going to get paid. If you thought
Yes.
Milton Williams got paid a lot,
Yeah.
imagine what Jalen Carter's going to make.
I think, yeah, Jalen might be, if I was the Eagles down the road, I might let him go.
I don't know. It's going to be hard.
Not because I think he's great.
Yeah.
But watching him punch people, I think he's gonna. The way he plays,
He's going to be worth.
He is gonna demand the every cent type of dollar.
Yeah, he's going to be worth $40 million a year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
By then, salaries are insane.
By then he might be worth 45, 50.
And I don't think you can pay. There's not very many defensive like an Aaron Donald or something like that. I mean, at that position, that's just hard to do.
This is what I would say about the Saquon thing. I think they knew that their cap space is going to be limited for the next coming future.
Yeah.
And I think their only way that they were going to get some better deals in free agency for the next 2 to 3 years to be able to keep this team rolling in the future is to make it obvious that they want to pay their guys properly for what they've done.
Right.
So by paying Saquon, they announced to the whole entire NFL league, if we don't pay you what you're worth up front, and you go out and you perform, we'll find a way to get you more money.
So that's what I think the 49ers were doing.
Yeah.
And I think it got them in trouble. So if they do it limited to the right people, it's great. The 49ers were doing it to everybody.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm glad they're finally resetting that
Yeah.
mindset. And
I think
saying-
you guys are resetting in a perfect fashion.
Yeah.
You
So-
guys still have a lot of players where you are not you're gonna win football games next year.
Yeah.
But I think you got a little mini reset going.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot better future in your guys
Yep.
coming along.
That's what we hope for. So
Hassan Reddick, can we talk about
yes,
this?
he's one of the people that I want to talk about. 1 year, he signed one. What do you think of him?
He's such an idiot.
He is. He went all in on himself and lost.
The Eagles were trying to
massively.
give him, Randy.
Yeah.
The Eagles were trying to give him $20 million a year,
And he didn't want it.
and he didn't want it.
So he lost.
So
half
he
of
now
last
is taking.
He lost last year half of the salary.
Yep,
And then this year signed for what?
14.
million?
He's an idiot.
He deserves it.
He's an idiot.
Yes, I agree. And
He was in his hometown of Philadelphia. He grew up in PA, in Philadelphia.
So you feel this way, and I do. Mine's a little different than yours because he obliterated Brock Purdy's arm in the NFC Championship game. But
He's a dummy.
yeah.
This is the stuff I don't get. This is exactly why I specifically say just take the winning team.
yeah.
Stop worrying about the extra $1 million you need in your contract. It's not worth it.
It's the winning team with a good salary.
Yeah.
$20 million is a great salary.
Yeah.
So he has lost a lot of
a
money.
lot of money. I just don't.
And
get
he
it.
didn't get to go to the Super Bowl.
And he doesn't get a Super Bowl ring.
Oh boy. Okay.
I do want to talk about we passed over this one, the Isaiah Rodgers.
Yeah.
That one's heartbreaking to me.
Is that hard?
Yeah, because I feel like we could have paid that. It was
Okay.
2 years, $14 million.
Yeah.
Now that's the thing. We have to be careful because technically speaking, no football player can sign until tomorrow.
Right.
Right? So
Yeah.
technically speaking, no one's actually signed a contract yet. So there's a chance that we
There's
come
no
up we
chance.
come up tomorrow, and we've seen it before.
It does happen occasionally.
We've seen it before.
Yeah, people change their mind, they sleep on it,
Yep.
buyer's remorse or
Yep.
from
So there's a chance.
there's
The Isaiah Rodgers one sucks because I knew Darius Slay was most likely going to go. Which
Yeah.
technically Darius Slay, they still haven't confirmed where he's going. They
Yeah.
originally said he was
some
going to
of these
Pittsburgh.
players come back.
Well, he said they originally released that he was going to Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
but then they came back and said, actually, never mind, it's not a done deal in Pittsburgh. And they still haven't said anything.
Yeah.
So there's a chance that Darius Slay comes back to the Eagles. I was hoping that Isaiah Rodgers would come back because I knew we could get him for much cheaper than Darius Slay. At $7 million a year with a cap hit who's probably $5 million, I just thought Isaiah Rodgers was worth it, and I don't understand why we didn't go do it, because he's easily a starter in this league.
Yeah.
At cornerback,
And for that value and that price, he might be thinking,
$7 million a year, Randy.
He might be thinking, I want to be on the outside. I want to be the guy. I want to.
This is the thing. We couldn't have guaranteed he would have started, because last year he went back and forth with Keith Ringo for the backup role, which he won fair and square. But there's no guarantee he would have won it next year.
And he knows that there are people in front of him that are going to be playing for the next several years.
Oh, yeah.
So he might be thinking this gives him a chance to spotlight.
Just sucks, because he's an overall amazing guy.
Yeah.
He's an overall amazing guy.
Okay, well, let's move on. I want to talk a little LeBron. Okay, so LeBron had a nice little chat right before the game with Stephen A. Smith. And this happened a few days ago.
This is so stupid.
And I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. Now, the part of being a father, I get. But this is defending your son and in public to go. If he wanted to call him and have a private conversation, that would be a different story. But in front of everybody, trying to bully somebody like Stephen A. Smith. And I'm not so sure. I hope it didn't work. Stephen A. is not a guy that normally gets bullied. He actually handled it pretty well on the air.
Well, I think he handled it in a very professional manner, which is the right thing to do.
Which I thought, he was very professional about it. But I think it's garbage. And I'm sorry, but the reality is LeBron's put his son in this situation.
He did it to himself.
Yes. And then now he's just trying to, you can't say anything about my son and blah, blah, blah. Why can't a broadcaster be honest?
He can't, because it's LeBron's son.
Yeah, so it's just, I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. I thought it was classless, and then he gets injured right after that. Not, I don't know if it was the same game or a few games later.
No, I think it was a game later.
Yeah, but now he's out, and the Lakers situation, we'll see where they're even going to go at from here. But I don't know. What were your thoughts?
Listen. This is where, when we talk about LeBron being the face of the league, has it hurt or been better for the NBA? This is the stuff where I'm like, this hurts us.
Yeah.
This hurts sports. This hurts the NBA.
Yeah.
This is classless.
It was.
He has Stephen A's phone number.
Yep. He
could have called him up and said, hey, I'm going to be honest with you, Stephen A. I just really don't appreciate the way you're talking about Bronny.
Yep.
I understand that he is someone to talk about right now.
Yep.
I think the way you're talking about him is inappropriate for who he is as a young man,
right,
as a basketball player, and not as my son.
Right.
And the thing is, if you've actually watched I watch his YouTube channel and I watch First Take, whenever he's talked about Bronny, what he's actually saying about Bronny is not that bad. It's not like he's like, Bronny is awful, he's garbage, and because you know how he can get animated sometimes. Yeah. He did not do that.
No.
And he spoke directly to the camera and was talking to LeBron about your son's not ready.
No.
And you putting him in this position is not setting him up for success, which is not the same thing as being like, Bronny's the worst kid ever. Like he has complimented Bronny. He's talked about how bright of a kid he is. He's got a great future.
Yeah.
Like what he was saying on the air was not that bad. No. And I've seen so much worse. We've said worse about Bronny than Stephen A. Smith did.
Yeah.
So,
but LeBron is the king behind it, since he likes the king reference. He's the one that did this. His son came into the league and wasn't the best player on USC basketball team. He averaged 4 points a game, and he was drafted in the second round above. Nobody else would ever do something like that. It was 100% because they wanted to play with LeBron. And I get it as a dad wanting to do it, but you get the good with it and you get the bad with it. And the bad is that your son was put in a situation where he wasn't ready for it. Yeah. And so he's had some good moments. He's had some moments in the G League, and he's laid some eggs. He's not ready. Like, why can't you say it? It's daddy ball at the NBA level.
Yeah.
And you can't say anything. I thought it was just terrible taste.
I think Stephen A. handled it very well.
Yeah,
I'll just end it with that. Agree. And I think, I just think it was handled completely wrong by LeBron.
Absolutely.
And he's done very similar things in the past.
Yeah.
And we let him get away with it.
Yeah.
Because of who he is.
Yeah.
Let me just say, it's not right.
No,
it's not how you handle things in a professional manner.
Now we'll see where the Lakers fall, because you also have LeBron is out with a groin injury for the next week or two, And it's not necessarily a long, but those things can linger. And
As
the
someone
older
who has
you are,
a groin injury,
yeah, it can linger for the season.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and he's older and he can keep going. So they're going to need to leave him out as long as possible. That means his, how long he can play. We'll see. We'll see where this goes.
And it just sets up Bronny for failure. I mean, how do you how would you feel if you're Bronny and the internet's trashing you and your dad's like fighting for you instead of you being
that
able
only
to
makes
just
life
prove yourself?
worse for Bronny. Yeah.
Yeah, it just puts him in a really
Yeah.
bad situation.
Yeah.
and
Well-
yeah. I hope Bronny does well. I hope he gets
Yeah.
better.
We're
you
not
know, but
rooting
it's
against
just-
Bronny.
No.
Bronny actually he got some really fortunate things, obviously, to be able to be in the NBA, but his road is a lot harder this way.
Mm.
It's a lot harder.
Yeah.
So, okay. So I want to go through this next thing pretty quickly, but I was thinking of some things. I think Steph Curry just scored like 25,000 points, something like that. He's had a great career. And I was thinking they always talk about like the Mount Rushmore and top 10 players and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to ask you a question. I'm going to give you a list. I'm going to take the top 6 off the list. Okay. This might not be everybody's top 6, but I do not include Jordan, Magic, Bird, Kobe, LeBron, or Kareem. I'm taking those people off the list. Who would make the next 4 on the list of the top 10 if I only give you 4 more people? I'm going to give you some names. You can add to it if you want to, but I'm going to add Steph Curry, and you're to start a franchise. Let's just say it that way. You're starting a franchise, and you get them for your total career. Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Shaquille O'Neal, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Tim Duncan, Oscar Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon, Jerry West, or other names. 4 people that you would say, I want to be the face of my organization, and I get them for their entire career. Who would be your top 4 in that list? And I'll start off with mine to give you some time to think about it. Okay, I would have Steph Curry. I think, first of all, from just a teammate standpoint, everybody loves playing with him. He's just a great guy. He's unselfish, and he's changed the game. He's inadvertently, for different reasons, I think maybe hurt the game because his freakish talent with being able to shoot from 30 feet and do all the things that everybody else wants to do. But he would definitely be in there. I'm not saying in this order. I would take Shaq. Nobody could absolutely do anything with Shaq. He was an absolute beast. I would do Hakeem Olajuwon. I saw him play in his...
Are you ranking them in order?
Nope. I'm just saying 4 people that I would have.
Oh, okay.
4 people, okay? It doesn't matter what order, but I would have him in there because defensively he was the best player in the league, and there were quite a few years offensively he was unstoppable. And then, it's no offense to... I'm going to sound like a Celtic hater because I'm not going to pick Bill Russell. But Bill Russell was 6'9", played post, and
in an era
where there was like 12 teams in the NBA. So they won every time, but it's like, okay, it's not the same. I don't mean to take away from him. Wilt Chamberlain was super tall, way taller than everybody, and he was a freak athlete. He'd be hard to pick against. Tim Duncan would be hard to pick against. Oscar Robinson was the triple-double guy. Kevin Durant has been amazing, but I think from a leadership standpoint, I'd go with Tim Duncan. That would be my 4th.
Actually, when you said that, I would have been like, yeah, okay. Yep.
Yeah. So
that makes sense.
Would you agree with those 4? Would you do different? What would you say?
I think Steph Curry is the easiest one for me.
Yeah.
I think there's an argument to be made that Steph's top 5 and not number 5. And I say that in the most like, he ultimately will go down as the greatest shooter of all time.
Absolutely, by far.
Yeah, and it's not even close. Like
By
his
far.
percentages, it's not even.
Yeah.
No one's even in the same realm
No.
in history of the
Yeah.
NBA.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say in a sport that relies on you shooting a basketball, and that's the main part of the game.
Scoring.
Yeah, is scoring. It's hard to say when someone is going to easily go down as the greatest shooter of all time.
Yeah.
That he's not top 5.
Yeah.
It's just hard. And I guess it's easy for me to say, too, from my perspective as someone who's younger, right?
Yeah.
But I just think it's going to be really hard for people to argue at some point, you know?
Yeah, he also passes really well. His deficiency, where I keep him a little lower on the ranking, is defense.
Yeah.
And he's limited because of his size, where he's basically guarding the slower guard every game.
Yeah.
Where some of these others that above him are able to guard multiple people. Jordan, Magic, Bird, Kobe, LeBron, Kareem. Kareem only guarded centers, but he was insane.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an arguable greatest of all time.
Yeah.
He's forgotten for that. But okay, so you got Steph Curry as one of your players.
Yep. And if I was building a team, see, this is why I was kind of trying to figure out. If I was building a team, I would never build a team full of 5 stars.
Yeah.
Just not how it works, right?
Sure.
So if I was building a team, this is why I like your Tim Duncan pick, because I think Tim Duncan would fit kind of well in this role.
Yeah.
If I was building a team, I would have at least one player that I think's a glue player.
Yeah.
I think Tim Duncan feels really good right there.
Okay.
But instead of Tim Duncan, I'll throw you Scottie Pippen. You know, I'm a huge Scottie Pippen fan. He would be my glue player for sure.
Would he be would he be in your top?
Well,
You're starting a career.
If I'm starting a basketball team and I got 4 people to pick,
You're not going to pick.
I'm going to pick Pippen.
You would.
Yeah, if you said start a
Okay.
basketball team, you get 4 people to pick, I'd pick Pippen. Because I just feel like he's that glue guy that is really a necessity on a basketball team.
So that's 3.
Well, no, I only got 2.
Oh, I thought you said Tim Duncan.
No, I liked
Steph
I
Curry.
liked your Tim Duncan pick. I'm saying my version of that is Scottie Pippen.
Oh, okay. So you'd have Pippen instead.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Steph, Pippen. Man, okay, this is where I want to go. What do I want to do with the big guy? See, I like your Shaq pick too because he was just so dominant.
He was. For people that saw him in 2000, and for like a 6-year span, he had people bouncing off them. You gotta go watch the old Blazer highlights, and people just were like gnats, and they're big players, and they just flew off him.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just gonna go copycat on that one. Give me Shaq.
Shaq. Okay.
And I'm probably gonna play. Oh, see, that's the thing.
So you have Steph, you have Pippen, you have Shaq.
Yep.
Okay.
I want a shooter. Oh. I think Steph can facilitate the offense good enough. Or do I go with like a point forward, like a LeBron type player? See, like Kevin Durant could play point forward.
Oh, Kevin Durant.
Yeah. See, man.
Obviously, Curry and Durant did well together.
Yeah, but this is the hard thing about Durant is he's just not a winner.
Well, that's why I said franchise.
Yeah.
Would you want him for your whole franchise?
I just feel like I just feel like no matter where you put Steph in the world, he's going to find a way to win basketball games.
Yep.
I feel like if you put Durant on the worst possible team, he wouldn't care.
No, I totally agree. That was why I didn't have him. Because his talent, I would have him there. But Tim Duncan, I think, would go anywhere and sacrifice anything, and he'd win. Olajuwon was that way. By the way, you have to watch Mad Max. I don't know if we can show this. Mad Max, his old teammate that played with Olajuwon, just talked about, it has to be edited significantly when you play it, but they just asked him what it was like playing, and did you ever try to stand up to Olajuwon or whatnot? And he said, Olajuwon just slapped the crap out of me, let's just say. Mad Max was an insane individual. Okay.
Okay.
Do you got your 4th?
Yeah. I got my 4th.
Okay.
You're not gonna like it.
Oh no. Who is it?
Hold up. I just want to make sure I feel good about this.
I don't think.
I don't think I do feel good about it. But
this is a Celtic. Is this a Celtic?
No, he's not a Celtic actually.
Okay.
So you're gonna like it more than you probably thought you might like it.
Yeah, a lot more already. It's already getting way better. Who are you thinking? Just tell me who you're thinking.
I just want to confirm one thing real quick.
He's got to confirm. I don't know that this is a good idea.
I just want to look.
Scottie Pippen's an interesting person you're talking about because he is massively underrated. And people forget that the Chicago Bulls were in the Eastern Conference Finals and almost made the finals without Jordan.
No, I can't do it.
Okay.
I can't do it.
Who were you thinking?
I was thinking Jason Williams.
Jason Williams? Oh my gosh. No.
Listen, I don't know. Listen, okay.
He's fun.
I changed from wanting a shooter to like, oh, maybe Steph would be my shooter and I could get a point guard.
Yeah.
but his stats just weren't anywhere near good enough to do it. He was flashy, but his stats weren't there. Give me Kobe Bean Bryant.
Well, he's on there.
Wait, I thought you said you
Top
couldn't use
6.
him. Oh,
yeah,
man.
you can't use him. You can't use him.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I'm not taking Charles. I would probably like Jerry West.
Jerry
Oh,
West.
wait. There's one person we left out that fits
Who?
my mold perfectly.
Who?
Give me Allen. Give me
I
Iverson.
thought that's what you...
Give me Iverson. Why didn't you
Allen
say
Iverson.
that?
Allen Iverson is fun.
Okay, I want Allen Iverson.
The best pound-for-pound player ever. to
Oh,
play.
that's fantastic. See, that's the perfect role. That's exactly what I was looking for right there. I want the Allen
He's
Iverson.
your guy. Yeah, that guy's he's a warrior, but doesn't practice.
Okay, I got Steph Curry, Allen Iverson, Scottie Pippen, Shaq.
Good
We're
group.
playing an interesting. It's an interesting looking team.
Well, you don't have to have that as your team. Those are your next 4 people that you'd have start your franchise. So
I do love Allen Iverson, man.
that was a good pick.
Listen, he had all
He was the
had all
dog.
the credentials for sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. So last thing just came out. Tiger Woods
Oof.
in golf.
Yeah.
It shows that you can tear your Achilles even when you walk slowly.
Is this it for Tiger?
Yeah, so
That's the question we gotta ask ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, he's already obviously not performed even close to where he used to be.
Mm.
And will he be able to recover fully from this? Now, I don't know how much the Achilles affects your golf, but I mean, he's going to be totally done for a year.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts?
I mean, this is the hard thing about. This is a difficult thing about where Tiger's at now. It's like he is still the greatest golfer of all time.
yeah,
And he still has a chance to win any tournament he competes in. But at what point? Because you can play golf until you're 90 years old.
yeah.
So at what point does he decide to hang it up? Is there a point?
He was so driven and worked so hard, he actually hurt his career by overworking out. I mean, his back and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, he was insane and intense, and so it's sad to see. It sounds like he was working out at home and hurt himself. And Tiger, get better. We want you to do better. We'd love to see you win another somewhere. It'd be so cool if he could just win another tournament here or there and whatnot. It's fun to watch. I love to see his competitiveness. So get better.
How crazy would that be if he came back and won, one more major?
That would be incredible.
That would be awesome.
That would be epic. So
I feel like he is a lot like your, when you watch the Olympics, anytime you get to watch Tiger win, you just feel like he's winning for the people because he's just kind of the people's guy,
yeah.
He really does. He really does feel like the one golfer that everyone can relate to.
Yeah.
Not in his off the field situations.
Yeah. How far off is he from Jack? Is he one? Is he only like one major away?
It's got to be pretty close.
I don't think it's 2. I think maybe it's 2. And it was like he was on pace to shatter it.
Yeah.
And then his body just fell out. Plus he had some, personal stuff that was going on.
Yeah, I think if you Tiger Woods he's 3 shy.
He's got 15 and
Yep.
Jack has 18.
Yep.
Okay.
That
so
sucks.
That's actually a gap.
But Tiger has 82 tour wins
Yeah.
versus Jack's 73.
Yeah.
Tiger has 3 less major wins.
Yeah.
Mm.
I thought it was 1 or 2, but
Well, total starts in majors.
yeah.
Tiger only has 86. Jack has 164.
Ah. Okay, well, we'll see. Well, we'll also see more and more stuff is coming out. I'm going to tell you right now, my prediction: the 49ers will sign Brock Purdy. I think he's going to. I'm just going to throw out a number right here.
We do need to talk about this.
Yeah.
Does it make sense to sign Brock Purdy at this point in time if you guys are doing a little bit of a rebuild?
This is why they're doing it. I'm going to tell you 2 things. I'll tell you what I would do and what I think is going to happen. Okay. I think he's going to sign for $50 million a year, 50 to 52. That's what I think he's going to sign. What I would do is they offered him $45 million apparently, and they said no, which is what you have to say always at these situations. You just say no. You offer me 50? No. You offer me 30? No. You always say no. Because it always goes up, and the 49ers have shown. Now, they are showing a different side, but here's what the 49ers could do. Not sign him. Brock Purdy's not going to hold out.
Yep.
He's not that guy. He won't.
No.
And we're paying him pennies on the dollar for this year. He's still on his rookie year, last of his rookie. They can franchise tag him next year. Do you know how much he'd make if they franchise tagged him? $41 million.
Wow.
Then they could franchise tag him again, and he'd make $55 million. So basically, they can say to him, the next 3 years, you can make I think it's like 4 something million. We'll call it $5 million.
Yep.
Then you can make $41 million. Then you can make $55 million. Or you can sign our $50 million contract, make a lot more money if you do this right now. So the 49ers have all the leverage. They should have done this with Brandon Ayuk. They didn't. I don't know why teams don't do this more, and I know they don't want to be considered the team they're holding hostage. It's stupid. You still do it. And I know you don't want your quarterback, whatever, but Brock Purdy's not a diva.
Yeah.
I would be blown away if he was to not show up to camp.
Oh, yeah.
I would be stunned. And so I think he would do it, play it out, risk it, and that's what I would do. And I would tell him, I would maybe consider doing a 3-year with the team option for a 4th year or something like that.
Yeah.
And that $50 million is a very fair wage for both players, or both the player and the team. So that's what I think. I'm predicting that cooler heads will prevail, and that's my prediction.
Yep.
So we'll see. I hope they sign Brock Purdy.
Let me tell you.
I
am very interested to see how a lot of this closes out. I don't know if you saw the Eagles trade this morning. We traded away C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That honestly is like a rock through my glass house.
Yeah.
I thought for sure that we would just never get rid of him. I thought even after he couldn't play, we would probably just keep him around just for the morale boost that he is.
Yeah.
He is such a team first guy.
How long did he play? How long has he been in the league?
It's been a while. He's probably 8 years in.
8 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Somewhere around there. He's been to the Eagles twice now.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But he is.
This is what happens when you win.
Yeah,
though.
but he's the juice. He's the juice, and we traded him away for nobody. And I just feel like it was. I don't know. I didn't like it.
I know fans oftentimes say, "Why didn't you pay your player? Why didn't you pay your player?" If you pay your players all the time, you're going to struggle, and there's going to be a reckoning coming. And so you have to make tough decisions. So I commend teams to say, "This is where we're putting our money, and this is where we don't." But it is hard as a fan. You buy the jersey, you support the team, you love the player, and then they let him go.
Yeah.
And it just sucks.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is. I feel I'm sad Ward's gone.
Yeah.
I thought Ward was great. Greenlaw gone.
That's a hard one.
Hufanga. They were the heart of the back end. And
okay, let me tell you what the 2 things the Eagles need to do in the rest of free agency to make sure I'm still happy. Okay.
Yeah.
I want Kyle Juszczyk on my football team.
Oh.
I want to run fullback.
No.
I want to run a fullback. Listen, we got a taste of it.
He's available.
We used our linebacker as a fullback.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the season, we actually brought on a real fullback.
Yeah.
I want to run a fullback.
Yeah.
I want to just push people
Teams
around.
don't do it very often. Kyle Juszczyk has got a great situation. He gets to go to the Pro Bowl. There's
every year.
Yeah, it's like there's 2 people on the list.
Yeah.
That's the position I want.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm the best. If not, I'm the second. If I'm the worst, I'm the second best.
Yeah.
And so, teams don't do fullbacks.
My
anymore.
other one that I'd really like to see, this is my wish list. I like to see us play around and get some sort of cornerback as a safety net for our team. But Azeez Ojulari from the New York Giants, I like him. I think he can be a talented player on a football team.
It's worked out for you getting people from the Giants. So.
Yeah, no, it has. Yeah, it worked out pretty well actually.
Well, NFL free agency is coming up. We will be talking draft as that comes up here next month. And
I love the draft.
A lot more. So, anyway, if you like what you see, you want to support us and you want to get more information, please hit the subscribe button. We appreciate all the support. Let's get those subscribers up there. It means a lot to us. Thank you, and we will see you next time.